Feed, an Undead horror, features the vocal talents of Kim White as the narrator, Lola Organa as Kaylee, Anthony Hahn as Isaac, and myself, Mark K. Gamiao, as Uncle John. This podcast will be enhanced by sound effects and ambient music to create an immersive atmosphere. Please enjoy.
Chapter 5 Shelter. John.
Get in, boy. Now why the fuck did I come off sounding like the main character in Red Jazz Revenge? Trying to sound all macho manly. I picked up on the vibe that Kaylee didn't like the boy. I didn't trust him either. So yeah, I'll play along and pretend to be Kira's dad. It's what any overprotective uncle would do. But I wasn't going to be an asshole and leave the kid to those savage beasts. Maybe I should have, calling me old without telling me I'm old. I could pass as Kaylee's older brother. Okay, much older brother. The carnage is everywhere now. It's taking every ounce of vigilance to avoid crashing into those things, cars, people trying to escape. We passed by a gated community and watched helplessly as the people struggled to keep the creatures from getting through, only to find those amongst them turning into those abominations and eating them alive. This is crazy. I can't call these things zombies because, although they crave human flesh, they don't look or smell of rot and decay. At least, not in the traditional sense. They look demi-human. I think I heard an indigenous folklore about these creatures. They were called something like a day of the week. Monday, Wednesday, I don't remember. I continued driving north, hoping to escape whatever plague has consumed Central California. Thankfully, the number of those things seemed to thin out once we were past the city's outskirts. There are a few stragglers, but not enough to pose an immediate threat. However, just as I think we're in the clear, one of those damn creatures jumps out of nowhere and slams into the hood. It rolls under the car and I hear the sickening crunch of bones as I lose control, swerving into a tree. Airbag does its job and I deflate it, then look back to check on my niece and the kid. I smiled grimly, happy to know that they had buckled in. Isaac reaches out to touch a small bruise on Kaylee's head, but she slaps his hand away. Good girl. I tried the engine and not surprisingly, the car won't start. Further assessment revealed smoke rising from the hood and front left tire flattened. Fortunately, so was the creature, its body tangled up in the undercarriage. Kaylee didn't bother to look, but Isaac, trying to appear the tough guy, took one glance and vomited. Right on my car! It was getting dark soon, and we needed a place to bunker down. Staying with the car would be like offering ourselves as meat in a can if more of those things lurked nearby. Isaac suggested we hit up Crescent Hill, a developmental housing project that had yet to open to the public, just a few miles from where we crashed. Since there would be no tenants, theoretically, it would be better than staying out in the open.
Kaylee.
I had no reason to look at the body underneath Uncle John's car. I could smell it. Isaac, though, thought he could impress me, and I had to stifle a laugh when it backfired. I turned and see my uncle looking at me with a sad, apologetic face. He motioned to the dead creature, and I nod my head, a silent message that I understood, and forgive him for what he couldn't tell me earlier. I wrap him in a hug, and he kisses the top of my head, glad that we're both alive. Uncle John tells me to call my parents, but I can't get a signal on my phone. Isaac and my uncle can't get any reception either. I hear Isaac saying we make a run for Crescent Hill, and my uncle agrees with him. Uncle John grabs a backpack and tosses it to me, saying to only carry the minimal essentials. As he rummages through his suitcase and loads up his backpack, I appreciate the foresight to bring the wooden and bamboo swords, but question his decision to include his saber strike equipment. What? That shit's expensive, he says. He also adds while putting on the suit, it should give him a layer of protection against those things. If their bite doesn't kill you, you either get eaten or turn into one of them. Good point. Not sure if that's true or not, but I'm not about to fuck around and find out. Minutes later, I'm also suited up in my VR gear. One thing about these suits is that they're extremely lightweight and flexible, allowing freedom of movement. The padded parts, hands, forearms, chest, and chin, don't hinder mobility despite its bulky appearance. I have to admit, my uncle and I look pretty badass standing side by side. Isaac gawks at us, then stares down at his protectionless body. Uncle John reaches back into the car and tosses him his kamikaze helmet. Isaac gratefully accepts and puts it over his annoyingly handsome face. No, I did not just say that. Grunting in disgust, I point my finger at Isaac. Frickin' noob.
Isaac.
I raise my hands in surrender. Kira must be really mad that I vomited all over her dad's car. Stupid me tried to be all macho and cool, just to show a girl that he can't even handle the sight of one dead body. I'm hoping I can redeem myself by guiding Jake and his daughter to the comfort and safety of the model units. I hope. It would be bad if there were squatters settled there, or worse. And what am I supposed to do with this helmet? It's the equivalent of a welding mask in PUBG. Might as well give me a frying pan to complete the look. At least my eyes are covered, so Kira's dad can't catch me ogling. Oh, fuck! He's looking right at me! Right. Focus. Isaac. Focus. I led us to an enclosed skate park, about halfway to Crescent Hill. A group of 5 teenagers was using their skateboards like bats to hit the flesh-hungry, no longer human beings down in the bowl. I heard one of the guys saying that these things can't climb up the sloping walls. However, he failed to notice that some of the zombie-like people were climbing over the bodies that had piled up. Soon, those kids were overrun. A pretty blonde girl in their group saw us and hopped onto her board, desperation in her eyes. She skated down the half-pipe and up the ramp, executing a perfect ollie over a hungry unhuman. She had almost reached our hiding spot behind a hubba ledge when one of these gremlin bastards slammed into her. No! I dash out as the girl struggles to push the creature off of her. It bites down on her arm, and her screams fill the air. Come and get me, you rat bastard! I duck instinctively as the creature goes soaring past above me and tumbling to the ground. I look back and see that I'm no longer its target. It has its eyes set on Kira and her father. I'm on my ass, backpedaling away towards the injured girl.
That no good son of a... I pull Kaylee behind me and hold out my Bakken in guard position with both hands, adopting a samurai candle-like stance. Both feet planted on the ground, knees bent shoulder-wide apart to attain a low center of gravity. I was an unmovable castle protecting its princess. The creature tried to circle around me and I matched its movement, keeping the tip of my wooden sword aimed at its face. When it lunged at me, I shifted my guard to my left as a sidestep to the right. I immediately swung the Bakken in a lateral strike to its shoulder, merely staggering the creature momentarily. I then quickly spun the Bakken into a reverse grip, holding the wooden blade close to my body as if preparing for an Iai Jutsu technique. When the creature jumps again, I dash forward and sweep my sword in a rising arc, catching the thing just below its knees. I spin my sword in its upright position and swing down hard on the back of its neck. The creature's head bounces off the pavement. Its body twitches once before laying still. Badass, I hear Kaylee whisper behind me. I suppress a smile. Move, boy, I say to Isaac as he hovers over the young skater girl. He had taken off his shirt and wrapped it around her arm to staunch the bleeding. I kneel down and ask her name. Riley, she answers. Can you walk? Riley makes an effort to stand, then shakes her head. In my peripheral, I see my knees scowling. Without a word, I fish into my backpack and throw an extra shirt to Isaac, who promptly puts it on. Kaylee looks at me and mouths, "Thank you." I return my attention to Riley and am about to scoop her up in my arms when she starts convulsing. It only lasts a few seconds and her body goes abruptly still. Her skin changes into the horrible, pallid complexion as the creature that just killed her. Then her eyes snapped open, no longer blue, but ghastly white. Then came that piercing scream. The shriek alerted the inhuman half-deads who were feeding on the bodies of Riley's friends. As one, they turned and started coming towards us. Isaac had picked up Riley's skateboard and slammed the front end into her knees, incapacitating her at the least. He raised the board again, but could not bring himself to smash her face. Instead, he rode it towards the approaching mob. If it wasn't so terrifying, I would have found it hilarious as one of the half-dead stumbled on the skateboard and went sprawling to the ground, tripping the others behind it in a domino effect. This gave us the valuable second needed to exit the park and slam the gate on all pursuers. After an hour and a half of walking and a few close calls, we finally reached our destination. 5 identical single-story houses with matching terraces sitting in a cul-de-sac, nestled by the mountain wall of its namesake. Our first order of business: make a clean sweep of the area and check for hidden dangers. I set aside my saber bag, taking out the Bakken and Shinais. The bamboo swords were not as heavy as the Bakken, but Kaylee and Isaac were at least armed. We start with the first unit on the left and work our way to the opposite side. We clear every room and backyard, taking note of the little foothill with a path leading up into the mountains. We also collect anything that could be used as weapons: brooms, hammers, PVC pipes, wooden dowels, a nail gun. Sweet! Once we're finished that there are no hostiles in the area, we reconvene in the living room of the central house Isaac has dubbed Habitat 1. All the buildings have minimal furnishings. No electricity, no running water, bathrooms with no plumbing. There were several porta potties outside. At least each house had a kitchen table, chairs, couches, and 2 bedrooms with beds. So there was that. We hadn't eaten since the massacre at Eddie's, so we rationed what we could for a makeshift meal consisting of pemmican bars, energy drinks, potato chips, candy, and water. There's a sudden drop in temperature, and I had forgotten Hurricane Sarah is supposed to make landfall later this evening. Isaac suggests we secure the doors and windows, not only to keep out the high winds and rain, but in case the monsters find us and try to break in. And by secure, he means to break the cabinets and use the shelves to nail down a barricade. As I look out onto the horizon and see those dark clouds rolling in, I hear the roar of thunder. I turn to Isaac and smile. I have a better idea. Thank you. You have been listening to Feed, an Undead Horror, featuring the vocal talents of Kim White as the narrator, Lola Organa as Kaylee, Anthony Hahn as Isaac, and myself, Marque Gamiao, as Uncle John. Please like and subscribe for updates on the latest episodes. Until then, be safe, my friends.